You could become the most decorated U.S. woman in Winter Olympic history. Yo,
Yeah.
we are here for you for all your stat needs if you need us.
Yeah, you could tie with
Yeah,
Bonnie Blair.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a pretty big stat, especially because with bobsled for so long you only had one opportunity anyway, so that would have taken me much longer. Now with the two opportunities and two races, like it's a complete game changer. So we have the monobob and we have the two women now, whereas most of my career we only had two women, so we only had one medal opportunity.
Right.
Wait, you have a monobob? Can you explain that to me? What the hell is that?
Yeah, monobob, which is actually the sled that's on my shirt. So monobob is a new discipline. It got added in the 2022 Beijing Olympics, and so it's just one person in the sled, one person pushing and driving, the same, almost the exact same weight as a two-man sled, but it was traditionally used as a development sled, so it was traditionally used for new drivers to learn how to drive a bobsled, but now it's its own event. And so it's funny is some of the people in the field actually have more experience than me in monobob, because when I learned to drive almost 20 years ago, like there was actually, you learned in a two-person, so you learned with somebody behind you, so you're learning with crashing and all this kind of stuff and somebody's behind you, versus now they learn just with one person in sled, so they actually have more experience in it, the discipline, than I do, which is kind of funny given how long I've been driving bobsleds.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is crazy. Well, just going down this road a little more, if you medal, right, then you would tie Bonnie Blair for the most Winter Olympic medals by a U.S. woman. With two medals, so as your point with monobob, you would hold the standalone record with 7 medals.
That's incredible. That's definitely something I didn't know, but it's cool to even like I never, when I started bobsled and when I started this Olympic journey and whatever, I never like ever thought I'd be where I am right now. Like after I won my first medal in 2010, like I thought I'd done everything there was to do in life. Like I was like, I got a bronze medal. Nobody could tell me anything. I could go home and I don't have to accomplish anything else in my life again. Of course, we know, especially as female athletes, that's not true. But at the time, I thought I was set forever. So it's kind of funny now to be in here. In this position to even have the opportunity to go for it, to try and win 2 more medals is pretty cool.
Oh my.
You know what I love most about that, Abs, is that you like it doesn't matter to you. Like you're doing it. Like that's not the driving force, which is so healthy.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. You don't even know. You're like great. Elana, can you share how a crushed softball dream I want you to rewind, led to a 20-year bobsled career?
Oh gosh. Well, the good news is I grew up right outside of Atlanta, so I watched the 96 games, and of course the 96 games was the game for female athletes. And so to see softball and soccer and basketball and everybody winning gold medals left and right, like it was just incredible, and so I knew I wanted to be an Olympian then and there. And it's funny, I remember watching the 1999 World Cup. I remember exactly where I was, exactly the restaurant, because I was watching the entire game with my softball team in between our tournament and everything like that. And so I'm watching the 99 World Cup and having those visions of, hey, I'm going to make it as an Olympic softballer. But, of course, that didn't happen. So I played at George Washington University. I played professionally, and I had an Olympic tryout. And I thought, great, I'm going to get this Olympic tryout. I'm going to nail it. I'm going to go in there and do it. And I had the worst tryout in the history of tryouts. And when I say this, I know softball's subjective. I know teams are subjectively picked. But anybody who was there or anybody who isn't there, I can tell you it was objectively the worst tryout in the history of tryouts. So
I can relate.
There's no chance I was making that team. And then softball was taken out of the games. And so at that point, I was like, well, I still want to be an Olympian. What else can I do? I don't know what that looks like, but my parents had actually seen bobsled on TV and were like, hey, why don't you try this? I was like, sure, why not? I Googled it, emailed a coach, and got invited to a tryout, and the rest is history. And that was in 2007. So I've been in this game a long time, but it all started in a failed softball career.
What are all the disciplines for bobsled? Can you explain that to me?
Yep. So there's monobob, there's two woman, two person, and then there's four man. And so for the longest time, women had actually fought, and myself included, to drive four man sleds and to have our own discipline for four women. Because men, since bobsled was in the Olympics, long story short, women's bobsled only got added to the Olympics in 2002. We won the first gold medal as the U.S., of course. But women's bobsled only got added in 2002, and they only added one discipline. And so men's bobsled is one of the oldest Olympic sports. It's been in the Olympics forever, but they've always had two opportunities to medal. And so as women, we always wanted more opportunities to medal. We wanted to do the four-man discipline. And so me and another group of girls, we fought to be able to have an opportunity to do four-man. We raced against men, we competed against men, and were able, and actually quite a few of us were successful, we were beating men and everything like that. And then finally, they saw the push that we were making to have two medal opportunities, and instead of saying, hey, you guys can do four man or do four women, they said, hey, you can do monobob. So it was quite a switch there. And so they gave us this monobob sled. So now women have two opportunities, men have two opportunities, but the men have the four man and two person at the games, and the women have monobob and two man.
This is going to be a little bit sidetracky, but I was in Norway when I was a 20-year-old. And this is where the Lillehammer Winter Olympics were. And so they had the bobsled course created. And this is summertime. And I got a chance to go into a bobsled, but they had like rubber wheels on it and they drive the thing down. And it was like the most scary thing that's ever happened because I'm just strapped in there. Somebody is driving this thing. And you're experiencing these G forces going around the turns. Can you talk about what that is like? Are you just used to it now, or going into the turns and experiencing those G's? Is that something that still kind of literally weighs on you?
Oh, literally, my back is trashed. It's completely, I don't know what I'm going to do post-bobsled between pregnancies and bobsledding for close to 20 years. My back is just done because that G-forces and, at some tracks they say we go 4 to 5 to even up to 8 Gs, and that pressure on our literal backs and our spines going down the tracks. And that's the thing, too, is you felt that in the summer. We don't do the summer bobsleds. Part of it, the reason is because we need the break. So from October to April or October to March, in the winter side, we're in sleds, we're competing, we're training, we're doing all that. And on the opposite end, April to October, we're not in sleds at all, but we also need time for our spines to unload and things like that because all the pressure that gets on it. So we've got pressure from competition, but also pressure that's weighing down on us. So it's a lot physically on your body.
Literally.
But yeah, but the biggest thing is as a brakeman, I was a brakeman for as long as I needed to be, and that was about it. I'm not an adrenaline junkie. I don't like roller coasters. I actually get motion sick, and quite a few people in our sport do. But I'm in the front of the sled, so it's like driving a car. Motion sickness isn't as bad when you're driving. And the same thing in a bobsled. I have every curve in my memorized in my head, and so I know what all the curves are like. I'm focused on a task, so I'm not motion sick or anything like that. So those same kind of feelings you feel as a passenger in the back of a bobsled, I don't feel that because I'm in control. And literally, I think that's why I love bobsled so much, is because it gives me the ability and power to control something that feels so uncontrollable.